Leadership is a learned skill. Welcome to episode number 11. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you the intricate dance of advocating for yourself. Listen on.
Welcome to Maximize Your Career with Stacy Mayer, a podcast about achieving your career goals while also being yourself.
Hello, welcome to Maximize Your Career with Stacy Mayer. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I can't believe we're on episode number 11. Now, one of my favorite things about this podcast since I launched it this past January has been the results that my clients are actually getting from listening to this podcast. It's such a brilliant way to reinforce the teaching that I offer them in one-on-one coaching, especially in the episode where I talk about building your own personal board of directors. This is something that a lot of people want to do. They'll say something like, I know I really need to expand my network. I need to find another sponsor, or I know that this is a problem, but actually going out and doing it and taking action on it is a very different manner. So by listening to this episode, even my clients are finally going out and getting the board of directors together, those people who can help support them, including myself, to help advance their career. So I am just super thrilled for them. If this podcast is also helping you, I am very proud of that as well. Share it with your friends. Take a screenshot of the podcast app as you're listening to it. This is the simplest way to share it, and just tag me in it, Stacy Mayer, and I would just love and be honored to see that on social media. And the other reason to share it is so that we can get more talented professionals promoted into upper level leadership positions. Now, on today's episode, I have to start off with an apology. So last week's episode, I feel like I really screwed up. Now, of course, if you're my mom, you would tell me, do not use that language. But she would also be quick to point out that I didn't actually screw up anything. But here's the deal. I did you a disservice. This is what I mean. In last week's episode, I basically got on my soapbox and I preached to you that you should never wait for your performance review to ask for a raise or promotion. I gave you all the reasons why this is such a bad idea, and I even showed you what to do differently. But what I didn't give you was how to advocate for yourself. I mean, it's easy for me to say you should just walk right into your boss's office months before your performance review and tell her, I want a promotion. I bet you were cursing me out when you were listening to last week's episode. Yeah, that's easy for her to say, but she doesn't know my boss. Or that's not the way things work around here. Or I tried that last year and it didn't work. So don't worry. In today's episode, I am remedying that screw up. Advocating for yourself is a subtle dance. There are intricacies to it, and unless you are explicitly taught this delicate balance, you'll never know what that looks like. So let's say that you are the person that waited until your performance review. You walked in the day of your review with a very specific idea in mind of what your boss was going to say to you that day or offer you as far as a promotion or a raise is concerned. You knew you and your team had delivered results that year. You knew that you're excellent at your job. Everyone around you can't believe that you aren't a director. Are you one of those people who get told that? I have several clients that say that to me. Be like, oh, I have all these colleagues that say, wait, you're not a director yet? You're still a manager? Anyway, that was a tangent. But let's say you have all of these thoughts, you have your business case together, and you go into your performance review knowing that your boss will have no choice but to give you exactly what you want, only to find out the hard way that that is not the case. It's very sad. I know. I talked about a couple instances last week where my clients would call me in tears. This is real. It hurts. It's hard when you have a certain expectation and it doesn't turn out that way. Or maybe you're the opposite. You spoke up for yourself too much. So now your boss is giving you the cold shoulder or thinks that you're too pushy or arrogant or even worse, annoying. You desperately don't want to be that difficult employee. And so maybe in the past when you spoke up, you became that difficult employee. I have a private coaching client who was constantly worried about being seen as too pushy or too arrogant, so she never asked for what she wanted. And when she did speak up, guess what? She came off as too pushy or too arrogant. So I coached her on this dance of advocating for herself, and she found a middle way. Let me use her specific example to show you what I mean. Her goal was to get promoted from the engineering track into the management track. She had expressed this goal to her boss several times and was repeatedly told it just takes time. But in her heart, she knew she was ready now. At her previous company, she had managed a team of 20 people. Everyone who knew her agreed that she was ready to manage people. That is, everyone except her boss. She desperately wanted to show her boss that she was capable of leading a team now and not a few years down the road. She wasn't willing to just take her time. Now, this is where the story gets good. So I told you that she wasn't managing people, but she did manage projects. And on a particular project, there were a couple of difficult peers. These peers were not the traditional team players. They had over 20 years seniority on her, and they were stuck in their ways. And they even dismissed her ideas openly and publicly. She was stressed out and frustrated with them, and one in particular, she even was having verbal arguments with him on a regular basis. Prior to coaching with me, she would bring this problem to her boss. She would tell her boss, I don't know what to do. He doesn't listen to me. I need your help to straighten him out or to get him to listen. She basically made her problem her boss's problem. Now, I'm going to stop there and point out something. This is where managers really run into trouble when learning to speak up for themselves. So I make a podcast about how you should start advocating for yourself, and I want you to have regular one-on-ones with your boss. And what do? You use that one-on-one time to complain to your boss about what's not working. You tell your boss what you want, yes, but what you want for them is to fix the problem. You're not actually offering your boss a solution. Luckily, she had me as her coach, an unbiased third party that has the tools to help her actually solve the specific problem with her peer. I coached her how to first stand up for herself with her peer without pissing him off more. I showed her how she was actually causing part of the problem. And I coached her to get him back on her side. So not only did he stop arguing with her, but he started asking her for her opinion on things. Now she has a solution. And I think most people would have just ended the conversation right then and there. You'd be so relieved that you're finally getting along with one of your peers, that he's finally delivering on the projects that you need, that you aren't as stressed out about the situation. So you can stop complaining to your boss and finally get your work done. So you don't even bring it up with your boss again because you're just so relieved. You feel so much better. But I coached her to keep the conversation with her boss going. And that's when the magic started to happen. I coached her to return to her boss and let her boss know exactly how she turned that relationship around. I gave her the words to articulate to her boss why her peer changed his attitude and to own what role she played in this transition. You remember that her goal was to be seen as a capable leader of people now, not 2 years from now. And by having this follow-up conversation with her boss, it allowed her boss to start trusting that she does in fact know what she is doing, that she turned that difficult situation around, which means that when she's presented with difficult situations as a manager of people, she can turn those around too. Do you see where I'm going here? Advocating for yourself does not mean complaining or stomping your feet or trying to prove yourself. It is simply a chance to share, and it gives your boss the opportunity to trust you. Let me tell you that again. Advocating for yourself is a chance to share, and it gives your boss the opportunity to trust you. And trust is ultimately what is lacking when you aren't getting the recognition that you deserve. I heard a quote today that I think is super useful when thinking about advocating for yourself. It's by Nobel Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi. If you're feeling helpless, help someone. One of the reasons why it feels so difficult to advocate for yourself is because it feels self-absorbed. I get it. If you've been following me for a while, I know that you are not a selfish person. You're not motivated by self-interest. In fact, the idea of quote unquote climbing the corporate ladder actually repels you. So much so that you refuse to have anything to do with it. So when I tell you to advocate for yourself, it just annoys you even more. But you do want your work to matter. You want to make a difference at your organization. You want to provide for your children in a way that brings more abundance and resources into their life. However, in order to really make an impact, in order to have your work matter and to create a better quality of life, you do have to climb that corporate ladder a little bit. And I'm offering you a way for you to do that on your own terms, in your own way, and in a way that is unique to you. So this quote, if you feel helpless, help someone, provides a starting place for how you can begin advocating for yourself. This is how it works. Let's go back to my previous client's example. She was essentially advocating for herself by following up with her boss and letting her boss know that the relationship with her peer is improving. Now, the question here is, how does this information actually help her boss? Number one, it makes her boss's job easier. Now her boss doesn't have to solve the problem anymore. She can just trust that the project will get completed on time and with a lot less friction. This is a good thing for her boss. It helps her boss. Number two, it allows her boss to trust my client more. Her boss can more freely delegate future opportunities to my client that she may not have trusted to do otherwise. It takes work off your boss's plate. And number three, this is the best one. It shifts her boss's thinking about whether or not she is ready for a people leading role. Now, how does thinking that my client is finally ready for a people leading role help her boss? Because, as it turns out, my client's boss really liked my client. She wanted my client to succeed. She wasn't out to get her at all. She was actually looking out for her. It feels great to have one of your employees succeed. And if that person can succeed because you challenge them to step up to the plate and to handle a situation, it feels good. You feel proud as a boss. So that's one piece of the dance of advocating for yourself. Get super clear how you advocating for yourself actually helps your boss. But the other piece is that it also shows you where you messed up when things go too far. Now, we all know that feeling when we've advocated for ourselves and it went awry, when it went too far. You can hear it in the other person's voice. You can see it in their eyes. Or worse, they put you in your place and they embarrass you in front of everyone. Even if that hasn't actually happened to you, it's what you're desperately afraid of. And it's the reason that you're not willing to begin advocating for yourself because you're so scared of this worst case scenario. Now, when we're thinking about it as a dance, I want you to continue imagining with me for a minute. So let's say that you are the follower of this dance and you have this magnificent lead dancer. She is guiding you effortlessly across the dance floor. And it feels incredible. It feels powerful as the receiver. People like to be led. Now imagine a different scenario where that lead dancer isn't quite sure if they should lead or not. They're making clunky choices. Sometimes they even let you lead and then they go back to leading and they trip over your feet and you trip over their feet. And as the follower, you're totally confused and you wish they would simply just take the lead and stop dancing around the issue. What I want to point out here is that in that first scenario, when the dancer was leading effortlessly, she was not being selfish at all. In fact, she had you in mind the entire time. She wanted to make you look good. She wanted to help. But she knew that the best way to do that was to take the lead. So I invite you to take the lead. Make a decision about a win that you want to share with your boss and set up an appointment for this week to share it with them. Keep in mind these 3 things that we have talked about today. Number 1, it's actually helping your boss to advocate for yourself. Number 2, people want you to take the lead and to speak up. And number 3, as long as you do it with their interest and keep all of your self-judgments aside, they will not see it as bragging, but instead they will be proud and they just might do something great for you. Now it's time to know exactly where you're going, to stop letting other people decide for you, and to get out there, take the lead, and start advocating for yourself. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Before you go, I want to share with you a very special opportunity to work with me personally as one of my private coaching clients. My coaching program helps talented directors get promoted. My methodology takes talented professionals from underappreciated, underrecognized, and underpaid to respected rising star. So if you're ready to take your career to the next level, then I invite you to hop on the phone with me for a free discovery call. On this 50-minute call, we will get crystal clear on exactly what is holding you back from success. We will carve a path out so you can see what you need to do differently. And then I will tell you if my one-on-one coaching program is a good fit for you. It's risk-free. Sign up at stacymayer.com/apply. That's STACYMAYER.com/apply.